All right. Well, my emotional response today is about street parking possession. One thing I learned in the last year, somebody who doesn't own a house yet, and someone who doesn't rent an apartment full space yet, um, a lot of people pretty much think they own the street. I grew up with that. Francesca did the same bullshit where I don't want neighbors to park in front of my place and this bullshit and blah blah blah, or anybody who doesn't live here can't park in front of my space. In basically saying I own this shit right here. You can't park here. I don't give a fuck. Um, Fuck you first off if you believe that because you don't own the street. That's my biggest thing that I need to say right now is that pretty much the biggest thing street parking possession kind of showed me is the racism behind it. Blatant racism. Francesca was a great example of that. Hated Mexicans, this and that, the other. That's racism right there, first off. I don't give a fuck if you're friends with a few. If you have certain views that alchemate you to treat anybody with a certain kind of sinister urge to say no to something when it's public property, then you're basically that. But that's what makes racism so easy with something like street parking possession. You want to basically have the slave owner mentality, but you can't have slaves anymore. Sorry, Francesca. That includes me, not slave. Was there for a while. Recently, had the same thing happen here when I had a friend over. Person across the street, because basically, I'll say this. The area where I'm at, you gotta have certain permits to park and blah blah blah. Other areas allow you to park, and it's okay, no problem, don't need a permit. But the neighbors come out and say, "Oh, you're parking in my spot," when they have a whole driveway. That's why street parking possession makes no fucking sense. You have a whole driveway and a whole house. I do not. That's pretty clear that a person who owns a house wouldn't do that, would they? Now, if you're an idiot, I don't know how you could be because you own a house, for one, but I guess that doesn't necessarily show someone's intelligence. But overall, a person's parking on the street parking because they don't own a house. That's pretty clear right there. And that's the thing about street parking possession that I definitely noticed is that people basically think, no, you should have your own space to park at. That's the way it should be. But pretty much they've made almost every single kind of parking now problematic. Whether it be permit parking, whether it be you can only park here during certain hours, you can't park overnight, whether it be street sweeping, but that's a natural one for everybody, so that one you can't stop. So pretty much the validity of people has to either have their own house already. Okay, well, some of us aren't as lucky to have the money or the silver spoon to get that shit. And I think that's the biggest thing that I recognized is that pretty much the mentality of gives no fucks or gotta bring him up. Tom McDonald's No Lives Matter, that's coming out tomorrow. Representing you for a moment there, sir. Is basically saying that everybody could get into this fortune. Actually, not everybody can because some of us want to have actual discussions and metafictional discussions. Pretty much, street parking possession cannot be if I'm going to get up there. Thank you, everybody. Love you, and I hope you don't possess your street parking in front of your home, especially if you own it. Bye bye.